Bristol, where the past speaks and the future breathes. Have you ever walked through a city and felt like the streets were whispering stories? That's Bristol.
Welcome to Bristol. Bristol is a city near London. I would say it's 3 hours by bus or car. So this city we have like 500,000 people, and hope you like my program. See you.
A place that invites you to pause, look up, and wonder, how did this all begin? What's in a name? Let's start with something simple, the name. Where does Bristol come from? The name is believed to have evolved from the Old English Brixto, meaning place at the bridge. And that makes perfect sense. Bristol grew up where a bridge crossed the River Avon, connecting trade routes and people since at least the 11th century. Over time, Brixto became Brigstow, then Bristow, and finally, the name we know today, Bristol. It's a name that carries centuries of history, but still feels alive, fresh, and full of possibility. Where did the city begin? If you could step back 1,000 years, you'd find a very different Bristol. The Old Town, near today's Corn Street and St. Nicholas Market, was once the heart of a bustling Saxon settlement. Narrow lanes and timber-framed buildings huddled along the riverbanks, while merchants sold wool, wine, and fish. You might wonder, what made this spot so special? Location. Bristol sits at the meeting point of the River Avon and River Frome, and not far from the Severn estuary. That gave the town access to both inland markets and sea trade. By the Middle Ages, Bristol had become one of the most important ports in England. Even today, if you wander through the old city's cobbled streets, past the medieval churches and the old exchange building, you can feel the pulse of that early prosperity. The past isn't buried here, it's built into the walls. How did Bristol shape the world? It's no exaggeration to say Bristol helped shape the world, and the world, in turn, shaped Bristol. In 1497, the explorer John Cabot sailed from Bristol on the Matthew and reached the shores of what is now Canada. It was one of the earliest European voyages to North America. Today, a replica of the Matthew is docked in the harbor, a proud reminder of Bristol's daring spirit. But not all of the city's legacy is noble. Between the 17th and 19th centuries, Bristol was deeply involved in the transatlantic slave trade. Ships from the city carried goods to West Africa, exchanged them for enslaved people, and then transported them to the Americas. The profits built grand houses, funded banks, and shaped the city's economy. What's remarkable is how Bristol now confronts this history. Museums, public art, and open discussions invite visitors and locals alike to explore this painful past, not to celebrate it, but to learn from it. When protesters pulled down the statue of Edward Colston in 2020, the world watched. It was a moment of reckoning and reflection, one that resonated far beyond the UK, including in countries like South Africa, where the fight to re-examine colonial legacies continues. Who was John Wesley, and why does he matter? In the middle of the 18th century, another figure arrived in Bristol who would change not just the city, but the course of religious life across continents. John Wesley. You might have heard of him, he's the founder of Methodism. But what many don't know is that he built his first chapel right here in Bristol in 1739. Called the New Room, it's now the oldest Methodist building in the world. What made Wesley different? He preached in the open air. He spoke to miners and factory workers. He offered help to the poor, education to children, and medical care to those who had none. From Bristol, the Methodist movement spread to the United States, the Caribbean, and across Africa, including to South Africa, where it would later play a vital role in communities and even resistance movements. Wesley's small plain chapel in Broadmead stands quietly among shops and buses today. But step inside, and you can feel the fire of change. What makes Bristol so iconic today? One word, Brunel. If John Wesley fed the city's soul, then Isambard Kingdom Brunel built its bones. the 19th century engineer designed the Clifton Suspension Bridge, which spans the Avon Gorge like a ribbon of steel and stone. He also gave the world the SS Great Britain, the first iron-hulled, steam-powered passenger ship. This ship was so advanced, it changed ocean travel. It even carried emigrants from Britain to South Africa and Australia. Now lovingly restored in Bristol's harbour, the SS Great Britain is more than a museum. It's a time machine. Brunel's legacy isn't just in what he built, it's in the way he inspired the city to think big. So, what is Bristol, really? It's a question worth asking. Bristol is history and progress. It's bridges and battles, sermons and spray paint, past and promise. It's the place where a Methodist preacher and a street artist both found their voice, where ships once left for Africa, and now African voices help shape the city. Where every brick has a story and every day offers a new one. Bristol is not just a place, it's a feeling. One that stays with you long after you leave.